This is reason number 999,000 and so on and so on and so on. Why to love Florida, specifically the Emerald Coast. First, really quick, I'm just gonna kind of go over what the Emerald Coast is. And by definition, it is the unofficial name of the coastal area in the US state of Florida that runs along the Gulf of Mexico. And it is about 150-ish miles through 6 counties, including Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, Walton, Bay, and Franklin. It literally goes from Perdido Key, Florida to about Apalachicola, Florida. It is referred to as the Forgotten Coast because of its small town feel. Even though we do have a lot of visitors now at this point in time, we still don't have nearly as many visitors to our beaches as much as the rest of Florida when you get down into your southern cities or towns. The Florida Realtors Association did an article on the best beach towns in Florida, and we, the Emerald Coast, ranked 7 times out of 25, coming in at number 1 with Panama City, Florida. Now, some of us may disagree with who exactly is number 1, but for the sake of the article and the sake of this video, Destin's very, very close neighbor, Panama City, Florida, is ranked at number 1 out of 25 in the state of Florida, along the Emerald Coast. How did the Florida Realtors Association choose these cities? Meaning, what was their criteria that determined for them what are the top 25 beach towns in the state of Florida? First, each city needed at least 1 beach that the Environmental Protection Agency monitors. Rankings were also determined by miles of shoreline, access to the beach, which is really important for me and something that I noticed between the beaches along the Emerald Coast or in the Panhandle themselves versus beach towns down south. Our beaches are a lot more accessible than the beaches there. You're typically going to have to pay no matter what when you go to the beaches in South Florida. The Florida Realtors Association also took into account median home prices. They did take into account the number of days that are there to swim and so on and so on. And we'll kind of go into that in a little bit more detail with each beach town along the Emerald Coast that made it in the top 25. Here in particular descending order are the top 7 beach towns along the Emerald Coast. Okay, coming in at number 20 out of 25 is Destin, where I live, very close to Panama City, Florida, I might add, but I digress. The number of beaches, which is one of the criteria, we have 4 main beaches. We have about 25, maybe a little more than that, miles of shoreline. The number of swim days that they calculated is 244 out of 365. I would like to add to that we typically boat 11 months out of the year. The 1 month that we really don't boat it's usually like mid-January to mid-February. And then anything outside of that, like I said, I've said in other videos, we take blankets, Uggs, and head out into the water because it's still so beautiful. The average summer temperature is 82. It always feels warmer with the humidity. And last but not least, the median home price is just over $600,000. Okay, coming in at number 18 out of 25 is Santa Rosa Beach, which is again a close neighbor to Destin. It essentially goes Destin, Miramar, and then Santa Rosa. So Destin Beach, Miramar Beach, Santa Rosa Beach, and then you go into Panama City. Santa Rosa Beach has 5 beaches with just over 11 miles of shoreline. They're gonna have the same average swim days, which is in at 244, same average summer temperature, which is 82, a little warmer with the humidity. And the difference between Destin and Santa Rosa is that the median home price jumps up to just over $900,000. Pensacola Beach is coming in at number 13 out of 25. And just to kind of give you an idea of Pensacola Beach, it is not actually with Pensacola proper. It's kind of off the beaten path a little bit, and you kind of drive out of the way to kind of get to Pensacola Beach. They have 7 beaches. They run all along together. It's set up for tourist traffic or visitors. For the 7 beaches, they have just over 9 miles of shoreline. Again, their average swim days are 244, just like us. The The average summer temperature is 82 degrees. Big difference for Pensacola Beach. Their median home price is $240,000. So I see a pattern here, and I think the median home price is playing a pretty good part in the criteria that Florida Realtors Association used to kind of rank these Florida beach towns in order of importance to them. One of my absolute favorite little beach towns along the Emerald Coast, coming in at number 11 out of 25, is Port St. Joe. Port St. Joe has 7 beaches with 37 miles of shoreline. It is a picture perfect old Florida beach town. They are coming in at the same average days of swim time, which is at 244, same average summer temperature, which is at 82 degrees. Their median home price is around $470,000. Coming in at number 7 out of 25 on the list of Florida's best beach towns is Panama City Beach, which is not to be confused with Panama City, Florida. They run into each other. They're essentially the same thing, but Panama City Beach is to the west of Panama City proper. Panama City Beach has 5 beaches, 14 miles of shoreline. They have the same average days to swim in the season, which is 244. They are looking at an average temperature of 79 degrees. I'm not sure how that's different. And their median home price is coming in around $500,000. Okay, coming in at number 3 out of the top 25 beach towns in Florida, we have Fort Walton Beach, Florida, which is Destin's neighbor to the west. Fort Walton Beach has 6 beaches with about 9 miles of shoreline. They again have an average of 244 days of swim time in the season. They are looking at an average temperature of 83 degrees, and Fort Walton Beach, Florida's median home price is around $350,000. Coming in at number 1 out of 25 of the top beach towns in Florida is Panama City, Florida. Again, very close neighbor to Destin, Florida. Panama City, Florida has 6 beaches with almost 23 miles of shoreline. They are again going to have the same average days of swim time at 244, same average temperature at 82. Panama City's median home price is $270,000. So again, we're looking at number of beaches, number of miles along the shoreline, and considering that all the towns or beach towns along the Emerald Coast have the same average days of swim time and temperature, they're really honing in on that median home price being at a lower price point. I would like to say that we have beautiful beaches all along the Emerald Coast. I said it earlier in the video, all of these beach towns that I mentioned have that small town feel. Even though we do have visitors joining us in high season, you still get that small town feel. And I think that's why we are still so beloved versus the overcrowding of the beaches in South Florida. Not to harp on the beaches in South Florida because they're beautiful too, and I've been to some that I love, but we, like I said, we just have that small town feel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed reading the video. I have several videos coming up for why it's so great living in Florida, especially along the Emerald Coast. I hope you enjoy those too. I'm gonna hone in on some very specific things. Again, I loved making this video, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye.